Welcome to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement, part of the Treehouse Podcast Network. On today's show, we'll discuss beavers, foot chases, and more. I'm Steve. Joining me today, we've got Joann Jackson.
Hey, y'all.
And Joann's our co-host today. We've got a co-host, Detective Curtis Hadley.
Ooh,
Good
Coco.
to be here.
Coco.
The Coco. Curtis the Coco. And Coco Curtis?
That's better.
That's like Cocoa Krispies. Coco Curtis. And we are joined in studio with one guest today. We've got Captain Robin Krouse.
Good afternoon.
Not, going back to the Cocoa Krispies, not to be confused with Captain Crunch.
Right. I've heard that one too.
You've heard that one. You've been called Captain Crunch before?
I have. And I don't know if this is a family show, so we can't get into too much of what I've been called. So,
you know what? When you refer to family show, hey, we're all family.
yes, true.
Yeah, it's the first responder family.
I don't know whether to be honored or appalled that you have to have co-hosts with me here. Is it because I'm so fat? Or
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No, two of us are here to monitor, one's here to host.
Oh, okay.
Curtis is kind of security today.
I'm usually the fall guy. I'm the one that usually gets thrown under the bus because I say something and then Steve is like, oh, really?
Yeah, I oftentimes have to have a monitor, and I can tell you about that when I went to the detective office.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is great. We're thinking of stories, and here we are. We're in the introduction area.
Well, I'm old, so it's going to take something to prompt my dusty memory.
Well, we can talk about the many years of law enforcement you've been in, Robin.
I'm just getting started. I'm a rookie with just a little bit of street experience. So,
Did you say how many years you've been?
November will be my 40th year when I was in the
Dang.
academy.
Wow.
You've
Good.
seen some changes.
Just a few, not some of them are good.
Changes from horses to cars.
I was just going to say that from horse and buggy to cars.
Yeah, so
It's like modern machinery.
I was kind of hoping you were going to say it because I just met Robin today. So.
no, that's I hear it all.
He offered to help me with something that's going to be like, forget you.
Yeah.
Bow and arrows to firearms.
You name it. I play in the pipes. I'm in the pipes and drum band, and of course, everybody's there. Everybody's younger than me, and they all think that they're funny by mentioning the fact that I was working with Abraham Lincoln and things like that.
And how was that working with Mr. Lincoln?
Yeah, I was there when it was written.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay. So 4th of July have a special meaning to you? Were you here for the first one?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I was the one that told Francis to use that tune because it was a beer drinking song instead of the one he was thinking about. It was a little too solemn, little too solemn. He needed one that had a little more sway to it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
History for today.
With the show, we always have a learning point on the show.
We try to be educational.
Absolutely. So, Robin, any set date for when you're going to hang up the gun belt?
No, you see guys that have left and ones that have talked to me about going, and you hear it all the time. When you'll know when it's time.
Yes,
and I think you probably can relate to that. And
absolutely,
right now it's not. I still enjoy what I'm doing, and my main motivation is I benefited so much from other people. I've had a very, very, very good career. I was very fortunate in the places that I've worked and the people I've worked with and around. And I just, because of the benefit I've had from others, I've been trying to pay it back. And I don't feel like I've paid back enough yet. My bank account's still in the red.
Still owe some.
Aren't we all?
That's the way I feel. And, I get up every day and I'm still glad to be where I'm at. So.
Well, and you are a captain. You're with Fort Worth Police Department, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, it's good to be a captain, right? Not a bad place to be. And you're 40.
We won't get too deep into that right now. We'll see how it fleshes out after September.
Have you only ever been with Fort Worth?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, nice.
Hey, we hear that a lot. Guys that go to Fort Worth, they stay at Fort Worth.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it.
And ones that leave come back.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. And not to push on Dallas, and then guys that go to work for Dallas go to work for Fort Worth, right?
Do you see Fort Worth posters in Dallas asking them to come over? No, you don't.
But they got posters down in Houston.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We got love for everybody.
Oh, well,
I-
Dallas is my department, so I have to kind of,
you got to stick up for you guys,
yeah, I guess.
right? And girls.
And girls.
Okay, I did want to mention today we did get another patch in studio. We got one from Wills Point Police Department. So
Oh, cool.
Pretty.
Hey, I know where that is.
I've heard of it.
We used to play them. I grew up in Van, so Wills Point, I feel you.
Okay, yep, out on the east side of Dallas.
Yeah.
Or east of Dallas, if you will.
They were one of our rivals. So
Well, I didn't mean to bring up. Didn't mean to strike a
no,
nerve
no.
there.
Turn the
No.
patch over. Turn the
Turn the
patch
patch
over.
over.
It's all friendly.
No raging on the show.
Well, when you go to a small town school in East Texas, everybody's your rival. So
True.
Well, yeah, that's true. Got no argument there. Now, I did also want to mention on the show, Offbeat, we're part of Treehouse Media. Treehouse Media has a couple shows, and the main show those guys have is the Treehouse Show. You can listen to those guys at treehouseonair.com. Dan O'Malley, Raj Sharman, and Trey Trenholm. Those guys are going to be actually recording live coming up on July 20th. They're referring to it as the Sunday Funday Roadshow. If you are in the area, July 20th, the DFW area, they're going to be at the Maverick Sports Bar in Carrollton from 12 noon to 2 p.m. And according to their flyer, the first 40 people in the door get a free limited edition t-shirt.
Oh, that's going to be me.
I've already told you need to camp out.
I think I'm going to have to.
You need to camp out and get your free shirt.
We'll
Joe.
start a movement. We'll just set tents out. No one's in them. People just think, oh man, these road shows are pretty crazy.
That's a
There's already
good
like 6
idea. I
tents
like
out there
that.
at 3 a.m.
Dan's going to fire us.
It's all about the optics, man. It's all about the optics.
Well, and that's, now, that's kind of an idea now.
We get there early and sit in our lawn chairs and wait.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And there's the Offbeat crew.
Troublemakers.
They've been here for 3 days.
And yes, guys, we're going to be out there for the road show. It is always a good time. It's a lot of fun going out there and listening to those guys record their show. So I invite you to come out. If you're going to be in the area, again, that is July 20th. It's going to be 12 noon to 2 p.m. at the Maverick Sports Bar in Carrollton.
On
And-
Hebron Parkway.
Yes. And Joanne, how many people get a free shirt?
40.
40.
40.
Oh, 40. Okay.
40.
40.
Not 41.
Not 41.
Curtis,
40.
that's why you're here, so you can translate what she says.
Yeah.
Oh, I struggle on a daily basis. I walked in the door. I didn't know if she was saying hello or what. I just hug her. So
Okay.
Oh boy.
Now, Robin, you've been an officer for a long time, and any officer that's done a job for more than 30 seconds has a story about the job. And you brought several stories with you today, and I want to dive into some of these. You say that like, oh yeah, here we go.
Well, no, I mean it's sparking, and I was thinking about some of the stuff, and probably one of the most self-effacing funny things that I did was my first day.
Really?
Oh,
Start-
I love a first day story. We've had some good ones.
Well,
Started off early.
So
Yeah.
Really early.
we got out in June. Got out of the academy. We were in field training. No, we graduated in March. I'm sorry. I graduated the academy on March the 14th in 1986, and of course go straight into field training. And nobody tells you anything. They just say make sure you have everything with you. And it's always easy to spot the rookies because they're sitting in the back of roll call with everything they own.
Yep.
And
duty bag, you name it.
yeah, they gave us the briefcases, and the briefcase that I had was like a Samsonite travel case. It didn't even look like a briefcase. So I looked like I was homeless sitting at the back of the room.
Or the door salesman, either way.
Had my watch cap, my baton, my everything. And I was fortunate enough to have a training officer that was extremely professional. I love him to death. His name was Tommy Richardson. And again, like I said, I was been very fortunate in my career, and Tommy was a great guy. As we're walking out to the car, and I have no clue. And let me back up. We didn't have our body armor yet because it hadn't come in.
Yikes. Who needs that?
We didn't have. back in '86, you checked out radios. You didn't get a radio
Oh,
when
wow.
you were graduated the academy, so you had to go to the radio room. And there was an officer in there named Larry Cox. And Larry was about 6'7", and all 6'7" of him was stretched out across the radio room. And he had on his white T-shirt and his Wrangler work uniform pants and bright blue tennis shoes. And I found out later he wore those because it was just to tweak on the sergeants, because Larry was one of those guys. And of course I said, hey, they told me to come check out a radio, and I got the whole "you're a rookie" look. You don't get a radio.
We don't have one for
You
you.
don't get a radio. And so we're walking to the car, and Tommy, like I said, was just the nicest guy ever and had a great bubbly personality and a great attitude. And he says, I'm going to learn as much from you as you are from me, because I've been at the Auto Pound for 2 years. And I thought,
wow.
this is going to be great.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
on one of our first calls, of course, I'm riding in the passenger seat because I have no idea where I'd be going. And I think it was a disturbance call. And of course, to me, it was my first, one of my first calls. So this was like the most important thing ever in the whole world. And we get there, and they gave us a description of the person that was causing the disturbance. And I see him, and I go, there he is. And I open the door, and I jump out of the car and get jerked right back into the car because I forgot to take my seatbelt off. So that was a great start to a career.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Raise your hand if you've never done that.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. Every one of us have.
Well, that was one of the learning curves. And, I'm sure all of us do the same thing when we're getting close to somewhere. We take the seatbelt off. And one day my wife looked at me and she goes, why do you do that? And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, why do you take your seatbelt off right as when we're like almost to the house? And I said, I do that? She goes, oh, yeah. And I had to explain to her that it was just a habit that, I'm getting close to my destination. So I'm taking the seatbelt off so I don't get jerked back into the car when I try to jump out and run after somebody.
Yeah, I might have to bail out at the neighbor's house.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I used to turn the radio off like 2 blocks because I've been listening to a song like 2 blocks from my house. I turned the radio off, seatbelt off, window cracked, and all of a sudden she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, in my head, I'm getting ready to get on a call.
That's right.
Yep.
So
Going through my landing procedures.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Landing checklist.
I didn't have to do any of that. I just had to get the Scott pack out of the holder in the seat, in the jump seat. I was
Wow.
so little, I couldn't get the Scott pack. It was attached into like metal clamps. So I would try and get out, and they'd be like, come on, Joann, let's go. I'm like, I'm stuck. And someone would have to come and pull me.
So you got the whole tank mounted in there.
Then
and
they were the
you're-
big tanks, not these little itty baby tanks they have that they complain about. This was a big ass, huge tank that was almost as big as me.
The tank was so big, right?
How
Yeah.
How big was it?
Was it?
I can just see little Joanne trying to yank on a huge tank to get
Well,
it out
one
of
of
there.
the engines, the clamp was really tight, and everybody had a problem with it. If I was on the driver's side, I had problems getting out. If I was on the passenger side, it was easy.
I've never had to do that.
No,
It's fun.
no.
I had some good times.
Well, think about it. I mean, guys, the seatbelt was hard enough for us. I mean, you think we could have,
I could only imagine.
handled,
Yeah,
Uh,
those
big oxygen
firefighters,
tank.
they had everything.
Yeah.
they really do. But
Poor
They
guys.
get to wear Crocs, for crying out loud. They get to wear comfy shoes.
But you know what? And let's. I do want to hit on this real quick. Obviously, you guys heard about what happened in Idaho,
Yes.
and absolutely tragic. What happened to our brothers in the fire department up there, and I just want to take a moment to mention those guys, and hey, let their families know we're thinking about them.
Absolutely.
Their agency as well, and that's just our hearts go out to those guys. It's just absolutely horrific events, and I mean, it's just terrible. And
Yeah.
we hate to hear about the loss of any first responder, especially something as tragic as that. It's
Yeah.
just-
Oh,
They
no,
can't
that-
even defend themselves.
yeah, that was horrific. So yeah, I just want to take a time to mention that, since we got on the firefighting side of things.
No, and
And-
people hear us chirp at each other and dog on each other, and,
Oh, it's
and
all
if you
fun.
don't understand that we're siblings, and
Yeah.
we're just like brothers.
We're having
And
fun.
We
Yeah,
have
it's
fun
all
with
fun
each
and
other,
games.
and we would do anything for them, and vice versa. So yeah, that really hit home when that happened.
Yeah, I mean it's the whole first responder community. We're all family. We all look out for each other. We got some good jokes to use against each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't want to switch gears here, but you guys know why they've got dogs on fire trucks, right?
Why?
So they can find the fire hydrants.
Ah.
There you go.
So yeah, we kind of one extreme to the other there. Joanne's catching up. But that's okay. I mean, just like the old one. I mean, we can't help it. They couldn't score high enough on the police test.
That's right.
But it is what it is. Joanne, did you ever take a police test?
I have.
You did?
I'd have.
Okay. What made you go into the EMT world and all that instead?
I started in the EMT world, and I just it was just part of the world where I lived. All my friends were police, fire, rescue, and I actually tested twice for Rhode Island State Police. Made it down to the last 3 females. My first time around.
Nice.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Did they start with 4?
No, there was a lot. You'd be surprised. And back in the day, to be a woman and get on Rhode Island State Police was nearly impossible. And there was quite a few.
Oh,
There was quite a
That's
few.
impressive.
very good. I never heard you talk about that. So thank you. Thank you for opening up. Last on episode 58, it was kind of a counseling session, right,
Yeah.
Curtis? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
JP.
I did bill it as a therapy session at least. So.
If you have not heard episode 58, you need to check it out. We had AL, who is actually AJ.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Listen to the episode. You'll know what we're talking about. The J is silent jalapenos. That's biggest clue we'll give you right there. Now, Robin, let's get back to you.
I was perfectly comfortable with just sitting here, but go ahead.
Oh,
but
no.
We didn't get into the cascades of all the stuff you've done for Fort Worth.
Oh yeah, what jobs have you had?
Oh my goodness. So of course started out in patrol in the East Division, and back then there were only 4 divisions in the city, and worked midnights, been a midnighter forever. I love midnights because it's easy to tell who's doing something wrong at midnights, because if they're moving around, they're pretty much not doing, if they're not a cop or a firefighter, they probably shouldn't be out there. Had a great lieutenant, the most senior lieutenant in the department, B.J. Irby. Learned a lot from him. So I worked that until 90, when I promoted, went to the detective office, still in East Division when it was brand new, and that's where I got introduced to J.C. Williams and Carlos Ortega and a lot of other people. Lot of mentors in my career. Left the detective office in 92 to go to the Weed and Seed federally funded project that Bill Clinton started, and we had a great time with that. We were working 5 10-hour shifts a week because the federal government was giving us overtime. So here I am, a corporal, and I was making captain's pay. So I just enjoyed that.
You got used to that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we did a lot of to reduce the violent crime in that area. Promoted to sergeant in 95 and stayed in Weed and Seed for a while, and then moved around in different spots in patrol. Went to the gang unit. Then I worked ZT, which is now known as DRU, which was SRT, which was
The fast action response
well,
team at one
we
time.
had to put Velcro on the cars to just
To
change
change
the
the
lettering
names.
out.
Changed it.
I think I've heard something about that before.
Oh, it's
Yes.
ridiculous.
Changing names.
So was in ZT as a sergeant, and when Jeff Halstead was the chief, they decided to start a brand new unit that was gonna track down and arrest people that were committing crimes all over the city or coming from outside the city in to do crimes, and they called us the criminal tracking unit. First time I was ever able to be involved in the actual creation of a unit that had never existed before. Promoted to lieutenant. Had enough time to study for the lieutenant's test because I got run over by a car while we were in the criminal tracking unit, and
That's a great way to promote.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough, but it was worth it. Promoted lieutenant, went out to patrol, got put over in communications as an acting captain for a while. Then I made captain in 2017, and it's been moved around a lot.
Been captain of the ship ever since.
Oh well, yeah. I've been the last one looking at the rats leaving and trying to stop the sinking ship in a couple of places I've been put.
Oh man, that's a
It's It's a pretty good career.
That is. And it only took you 40 years.
Yeah, I'm a slow starter. So
I know you're about to try to go to break here, but I remember when you promoted from sergeant to lieutenant, I was actually just come out at the academy, and I was sitting in the roll call, and you come in and you gave your speech, your lieutenant speech, and it was like, guys, I support an open door policy, but not in this case. Go talk to your sergeant first. I don't want to hear it.
This is Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Check us out online at offbeatcopshow.com.
Let's talk to Daniel Cook now from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. 833 Cook DFW is the phone number. The website, cookdfw.com. How are you, Daniel?
Doing fantastic, Steve. Thank you, brother.
Good deal. Now we know you do a lot in the community, Daniel. What all do you guys do out there?
Well, we try to help out wherever we get asked. And, we've been very fortunate, and we like to give back. And we have a lot of organizations that have made partnerships with us over the years. And, some of them are complete help with remodeling a house for senior citizens or disabled, people. Some are veteran assistance, retired police officers, firefighters, people that just need help. Sometimes they're just senior citizens that, have to have their home, taken care of. And so lots of organizations are out there. Some are city funded. Some are, privately funded organizations. We work with several around the DFW Metroplex. Rebuilding North Texas is a big one. They try to help, fix homes that need repairs and are unsafe. There's another organization called Hearts and Hammers. It's another organization similar to that where they help build roofs and fix homes that are, in bad shape. And the people unfortunately aren't able to take care of it. And Habitat for Humanity, we've donated stuff for. There's another local charity here up in the north section of town. They're rebuilding a home that's in very bad shape for a World War II veteran. And so these are things that we love to be a part of. It's not about just, take and make sure your business is good. It's also taking time and let's try to help each other out. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's about giving back. And, the reason I asked you about that is because on your social media outlets, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram. I saw you guys posted a video. You in particular, where you're out working on a house and you guys were putting the roof on the house for them. And that's awesome to see you guys involved in the community like that, helping out other people. Make sure you check out Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration on Facebook and Instagram and give Daniel a call for any of those roofing and restoration needs. They also do remodeling as well. So if you got a project, give these guys a call. Their number's 833 Cook DFW. Again, that's 833 Cook DFW. The website, cookdfw.com. And be sure to ask about their free first responder upgrade.
Hi, this is Joann Jackson. My husband, Dallas Police Officer Brian Jackson, gave his life serving the city of Dallas in 2005. The RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation supports the families of Dallas and Fort Worth area police officers and firefighters who have selflessly fallen in the line of duty. To donate, please visit offbeatcopshow.com or treehouseonair.com and click on the link.
And we're back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Steve here. I got two co-hosts today. We've got Joann Jackson.
Hey, y'all.
And we've got Detective Curtis Hadley, who's
Coco.
our Coco. You're our crispy co-host today.
Better than soggy, I guess.
Better than soggy. It did rain outside.
It did.
So, and we are joined with one guest in studio. We've got Captain Robin Crunch Krouse.
Cat and Krouse.
He's never coming back after that.
I've heard them all.
Captain Krouse. That actually has a really good ring to it. I mean,
It does.
Versus like Lieutenant Krouse or Sergeant Krouse. Corporal Krouse, that's okay.
Yeah,
Corporal Krouse is good.
Commandant.
I was hoping for Chief, but we'll.
At least we didn't ask
Chief
where
Krouse,
Batman was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Batman or
Wow.
Robin the Hood.
Depends on which version. so,
Rob, did you say Robin the Hood?
yeah.
Okay. I still like I like Captain Krouse. That is catchy.
That is catchy.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this segment, the Offbeat, sponsored by our good friends at Alexander Financial Management. If you have questions about retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, or estate planning, check out Alexander Financial Management at alexfm.com. Now, Robin, you had mentioned a story to me, regarding some wildlife.
Yeah. When you live in the city, I grew up in East Texas, so I'm used to animals, and I noticed you're the same out here where we are when you had all of your pet deer everywhere. And people don't think about wildlife, and we do have wooded areas all over the city, especially on the east side of town where the rivers are. I was living in an apartment complex working security, and there was a guy that had been involved in an altercation that turned into a shooting, and he lived in the complex where I worked. So some officers had come out there and told me about him, and they had gotten some information that he was living in an abandoned trailer down by the Trinity River out in a bunch of woods. So they came by one day and
Down by the river.
yes, it wasn't in a van though.
No.
It wasn't in a van. Scooped me up and asked me to come out there with him. So we're working our way through the back trails to get to this place, and it's dark. And when we start hearing crashing in the brush, and we're thinking that this guy knew we were there and he's trying to run from us. So we beeline towards where we hear all the crashing, and the adrenaline levels sky high, and because he's armed and he's already shot one person, and you're waiting to just get into this massive altercation in the middle of nowhere, dark and in the woods. And the closer it gets, the more you get, the anticipation just builds to the point where you just want something to happen. When the crashing gets closer, then I turned on my flashlight, and there he was right in front of me. About
The whites of his eyes.
Yeah, I could almost see and his teeth, because it was about a 70-pound beaver that was crashing through the underbrush. And we ended up finding him somewhere else, but that's the closest I've ever come to actually having to wrestle with wildlife. So
You call him the Beaver Bandit after
I'm
that?
telling you, it was something. I never told anybody else about it. We told them there was a beaver out there, but I didn't tell them how much it scared the crap out of me. So
I bet, man.
Oh, that's scary. It's like my friend with the horse,
Your friend with the horse.
John.
Oh, yes.
John, yeah, I was in that dark barn and searching for somebody, and it's pitch black, and he turns around and he's eyeball to eyeball with a horse. He's afraid of the dark now.
And then turned around and smashed his head on a beam or something, almost knocked himself out.
Yep.
I will say that's probably the first beaver story you've had.
I think it is.
With all the beaver out there in the world, that's
Yeah, well,
yeah. Robin brought the first beaver story to the show.
I did. That's a damn shame.
You brought you brought the first beaver. Okay. You never know what you might find in a rickety trailer down by the river.
In the middle of the woods.
There's catfish and chicken stories too, and possums. I mean, you give cops, especially on midnights, time to do nefarious things to each other, and it's going to happen.
Nefarious things.
Oh
What
yeah,
kind of nefarious things?
Somebody
like chickens?
found a chicken and put it in somebody's glove box.
Oh, I was going to say just in the car, but in the glove box?
No,
That's neat.
and I'm not.
was this
talking
a
about,
boneless chicken?
I'm not talking about a packaged chicken from Kroger. No, this was a live chicken. So
Well, I guess glove boxes were bigger back in your days.
They were bigger back in the day.
It wasn't just a chicken wing.
no,
It was the whole chicken.
no, the whole chicken fit in there. And possums in trunks.
Oh, gross. They smell.
And we got the most mileage out of a mannequin torso. That was the one that made the round.
I'm glad you said mannequin on there because I was.
No, not that.
Yeah, we stuffed a torso in the. What?
We put a mannequin on the toilet in the bathroom one time. That was great.
Nice.
I hear some screaming.
So the chicken in the car, I guess they put it in there and somebody found it. Like they didn't know it was there, correct?
I
Well,
hope
they heard
found
noise coming out of the glove box, and when they opened it up, it was
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
No, it was
well,
Glove box.
it was feathers and profanity.
Oh, I bet.
A tremendous amount of both. So.
That poor chicken.
Feathers and profanity. That's a pretty good title for the show.
Yeah.
It does.
For a
It does
second,
say a lot.
a chicken in the glove box. What kind of car was this? You recall?
Let's see. It was probably a Ford LTD.
Okay,
I was
probably
gonna
one
say
of
it could be
That
something
was
Crown
a
big.
Vics.
precursor to the Crown Victoria.
Yeah.
And if you'd never seen an LTD, it was about 75 feet long.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a land yacht.
It was a boat.
and
had a glove box the size of a chicken.
oh yeah, a big chicken.
Oh, it's a double
a
restaurant
Rhode
bed.
Island red.
Yeah, yeah. I love Rhode Island Reds because they're brown eggs.
Oh, got a couple of those outside in the barn.
I know. I'm excited.
Talking about the chicks again.
Stephen is chicks.
So a chicken in a glove box. That we hadn't heard that one yet. We've heard about the officer with an affection towards snakes and like to catch them on duty and take them home with him. Take them home, and then actually lost one in his car one day, and then his relief was bitten by said snake that was underneath the passenger seat.
Oh my
It
god.
happens.
That's scary.
We did have, and I wasn't involved in this, and I will deny any activity at all. This is a story I heard where there was a rubber snake that was making the rounds, and it was funny until somebody blew the floorboard out with their shotgun.
Ooh.
I can see that. I can see that. One guy takes
One
it
guy
too far.
spoils it off for everybody.
Yes.
That's why we can't have nice things
That's why
now.
you can't have.
Yeah.
That's why there's rules.
Yeah, I can't take a joke.
Jeez.
We had a, you talk about shotgun blasts inside the car. We actually had a sergeant, long retired now, but was firearms instructor. And I mean, he was kind of hell on the range. You get those firearms instructors, they're just, they're not friendly people on the range, and they know everything. And you would think that being a firearms instructor and knowing everything, he wouldn't have pulled the trigger on a shotgun inside his car that blew out the speaker for the police radio.
Oh my god.
So, hey. But yeah,
Hey, accidental discharges happen.
sometimes. I hate to reference a previous episode again, but if you haven't heard the one with Stan Davies on it,
Mm-hmm.
his accidental discharge of his shotgun while going inside his police department,
Yep.
which was also his city hall.
Yep.
Shooting the toilet off the wall in the men's restroom. That was awesome.
Stand down.
It's probably a felonious toilet. So,
Well, that's it. I mean, it was probably threatening at the very least.
I've been threatened many times
By a toilet,
Mhm.
which takes me back to the Silent J and jalapenos from last week. That'll threaten you. Robin, you in your 40 years, I know that you have probably been involved in some pursuits, some of them on foot.
Yeah.
Ever chased a phantom?
Well, I wasn't actually the one running, but I was working that night, and so I heard all this play out over the radio.
So you were already a captain at this point?
No,
You weren't the
no,
one running. You
no.
were listening to it?
I was listening. I think I was still an officer because I was working East Division again midnights, and one of my very, very, very good friends, Kelly Carruthers, he and I went to the academy together. And Kelly was not a small person. He's still not a small person. I don't want to speak to him like he's shrunk or anything, because he absolutely hasn't. He stayed on the east side. Everybody knows him on the east side as Cowboy. But we had some guys that were running from some other officers, and they were, again, wooded area. Seems to be a common theme here. And Kelly was chasing the guy, and one of the other officers that was out there, and I don't remember that officer's name, but he was like, yeah, he's right in front of me. I can hear him. I can hear him crashing through the brush. And Kelly would stop. And then the officer would go, wait, he stopped. I think he's over here. And Kelly would start running, and they go, oh, he's running again. And it took about 3 times of that happening before everybody realized they were chasing Kelly, and they didn't know it. So that was the phantom foot pursuit. They were chasing somebody that wasn't there.
He's over here, guys. I've been on this guy's tail all night, man. I can't find him.
That's funny.
What was a headline in the news not that long ago where a guy, an intoxicated individual, joined the search party that was out searching for him because he'd been missing? Along the same kind of lines.
That's funny.
I could actually visualize that, though, that he's chasing somebody, and every time he keys up on the radio, the other guy stops.
Yeah.
Wait, he stopped.
He's right in front of me, and of course they didn't know where each other was, and the funniest part about it is Kelly's just so country. And when he was telling the story, he's got this laugh that just makes you laugh when he laughs. So at the end of the night, we're all at the sector and we're talking about the foot pursuit. And that's when we figured out that they were chasing Kelly, except there was one little blurb on the radio where Kelly goes, "I think that's me you're hearing." And then it's dead silent because nobody wants to fess up to the fact that they were going the wrong direction.
At least he wasn't keying up. Hey, there's somebody following me.
It's over here. No, it's over here.
They're still following me.
Yeah, we have had people actually get followed. We were working one night and one of our corporals got on the radio and he goes, "Is there anybody near Avenue J and Miller?" And like, what's going on? And he goes, I think I'm being pursued. And he was driving and there was a car behind him and he'd turn and the car would turn. And so he's like, "This guy's chasing me." So we all ran over there and we get him stopped. We, back then we did things on the fly and we jerked his door open and somebody grabbed him and pulled him out and he fell immediately on the ground and we couldn't figure out why. Well, he was paralyzed from the waist down. And he had those hand controls so he could drive. And he's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. And we're going, "Why are you chasing this cop? Do you know him or anything?" He goes, "No, I was just bored and I was following him around to see if I could see anything exciting happen." So, well, you got that.
You got it.
You
got
got a
it
good
firsthand.
You got a good story. Wow.
Yeah, that's like I actually stopped a guy for DWI one night talking about, you get unexpected things that happen when you deal with the world, pulling this guy out that couldn't walk. And I pulled the guy over for DWI and got him out of the car. And I was going to do the FSE on him, the field sobriety examination, which included the one leg stand until I realized that he had a prosthesis on. So that was kind of difficult for him to do. So we kind of skipped that one.
Difficult or easy?
Oh, it would have been too easy for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you could, you could just, I don't get me wrong, I've got no experience with this, but my guess is that it would make it easier.
Yeah, just make him hold the prosthetic while he stands there.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
But just like,
yeah. I mean, he wasn't unarmed, he was just unlegged. I mean,
One arm bandit.
he still was a threat. I mean,
all right, you're going to get your first hate mail now.
Oh, wow. I just had questions. Going back to your foot pursuits, obviously foot pursuits, there's some inherent dangers there, whether or not the person you're chasing is armed, whether or not you're familiar with the location you're pursuing someone through. And there's obstacles, whether they be man-made or natural obstacles. And sometimes you got to run past those. You had mentioned a story about a particular residential area there in your city that you guys had a lot of foot chases in.
Oh,
and they came with obstacles.
Quite a few. Cavill housing community on the east side of Fort Worth. It's recently been torn down, and they're doing a different project there. But it was a very active community. It was a large housing community, and it was one of those that was built back in the 30s. So it was very, very sturdy. A lot of brick and mortar. If you needed to knock down the door, you couldn't because they were metal doors. But a lot of activity. We spent a lot of time there, and they had clotheslines, and not all the poles had lines on them, but they had clotheslines on them. And one of the things that you tried to remember to teach the rookies when they came out was that there were clotheslines at Cavill, because if you didn't know it and you rounded a corner, you would understand why the football term clothesline came out. And they would change ends and go vertical and with their feet. And if you were chasing someone and they were dipping around one of the buildings where you knew the clothesline was, you could find out very quickly whether they had ever spent any time there at Cavill, because if they were laying on the ground, you knew they forgot to duck. So that was one of those things, and you just make sure to tell everybody, look out around these specific buildings are the ones that have the clotheslines.
That would be embarrassing and painful.
That'd be painful.
I mean, Cavill had its own patrol at one point in time, correct?
Yeah, they had foot
They
patrol.
had their own foot patrol at one point in time.
Billy Daniels and Frank LaGrassa worked out there as foot patrol. And Billy was hilarious. Billy's a very large man, and this was in the 80s. And Billy wore his Kareem Abdul-Jabbar glasses, the ones with the head strap on them, and they were bright yellow.
Well, that's so they stay on if you get clothesline.
Oh yeah, yeah. Make sure that you keep your glasses.
That's funny.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those obstacles. We actually had an officer. He was in his car and he was pursuing somebody. They went across a vacant parking lot and he tried to turn in at a different location. It's got the 2 concrete posts on each side of the driveway. He didn't see the cable going across the 2, and the cable did make it over the hood, but took out the windshield, the light bar, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yikes.
almost a Smokey and the Bandit kind of moment.
Yeah.
So almost ripped top off.
Oh yeah, the you had to be real careful with anywhere you drove, and how you left your vehicle when you had to leave to conduct a foot pursuit. We were chasing a car one night. I believe it was a stolen car out of another city, and my good friend Steve Hall was the one that was right behind the guy, and they ended up at an apartment complex over off of East Lancaster, and it was one of those that had the brick pillars, and it was just wide enough for a car. And I was riding with a partner that night, and as we came down the back street to where they had gone, we see a police car up on with its back end up on the curb, and we pull in and we see the suspect vehicle because it had hit the building. The guy had bailed out and run, and we can't find Steve anywhere. And we're calling out, and he goes, "Oh, I caught him. And he comes walking back with this big grin on his face because he had chased this guy down, and he's really happy about it. And as he got closer to us, his expression changed, and then he looked at me and he goes, "Where's my car?"
Oh, dude, where's my car?
I said, "Is that out there on the street?" And he had thought he put it in park, but he didn't go quite far enough, so it was in reverse. And I don't know how that car backed itself up out the driveway and in between those 2 pillars without hitting anything, and it was up on a shrub is the only reason it didn't damage the car. But just the look on his face when he realized his car wasn't there anymore was priceless.
Oh, lucky. He could never replicate that.
Oh, you couldn't have driven it backwards.
That's funny.
I would have hit something. Of course, I hit a lot of things in my career driving. So
At least he didn't run himself over.
Yeah.
I've seen that too.
Yep.
Yeah, we shout out to Stan Davies again for running himself over with his own car. Check out the episode, guys, if you haven't heard it.
You're listening to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Visit us online at offbeatcopshow.com.
Planning for the future is challenging, and getting where you want to go in life requires strategies built around your unique financial needs. Alexander Financial Management is here to help you reach your goals. As fiduciaries, Alexander Financial Management will pursue the best solutions for you, no exception. While their decades of experience and service are available to everyone, Alexander Financial especially wants to help first responders and their families. The founder is a former police officer, and the executive team includes a retired fire captain and a retired police officer. Their extensive background in public service gives a deep understanding of the public retirement systems of Texas. So for retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, and estate planning, Alexander Financial Management has your back, so you can look forward. Get more info at alexfm.com. That's alexfm.com. Investment advisory services offered through Transcend LLC, a registered investment advisor. TE3 and Alexander Financial are not affiliated entities. Insurance products and services are not offered through TE3, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
And we're back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. We've got one guest joining us today. We've got Captain Robin Krouse of Fort Worth Police Department. Now, if you have not checked it out yet, check out our website, offbeatcopshow.com. Again, offbeatcopshow.com. There on the website, you can listen to all episodes, as well as at the top of the website, we've got a link to the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation. The foundation established many years ago, provides monetary donations to the families of our fallen police and firefighters here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Encompasses 10 counties in the North Texas area. And you know, one thing about the foundation, these guys try to get a check to the surviving family members of our fallen as soon as possible. And I, you know, it unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but it's unfortunately I've had the honor to transport one of these checks, deliver one of these checks for the guys at the Listeners Foundation. And one of those checks that I participated in transferring last year was for Sergeant Billy Randolph of the Fort Worth Police Department. And I actually delivered that check to you, Robin.
You did, yes.
At the Fort Worth Police Officers Association headquarters, and then you made sure that it got to Billy's spouse.
Yeah, and I was more than humbled to be able to participate in that. And what a great organization! I'm glad that it's lived on. It was one of those things that is from somebody you never expected it to come from, and the fact that he took such ownership over taking care of families of fallen officers and fallen first responders. So it was an honor to be able to help with that.
And that's one thing. The association lives on through their current board, but none of it would be possible without donors. And we thank all the folks that have donated to the Listeners Foundation over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It's remarkable. It's a shame that there has to be something like that out there, but it's a blessing that there absolutely is.
It's definitely a blessing for the families for the immediate time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would encourage you there, if you feel so led, to click on the link there. You can visit it on our page, offbeatcopshow.com, or you can go on the Treehouse page, treehouseonair.com. They've also got a link there to the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and you can watch the show on YouTube. Give us a like, a share. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but go ahead and mash that button. If you're an officer and you'd like to come on the show, tell your story, then send us an email at offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Again, offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Also, going back to the website, there's a little microphone icon there. If you can't make it in studio, but you'd like to share your story, you can hit that little icon on our website and say who you are, where you're from, and tell us your story. We'd be happy to share it on the show. And speaking of sharing stuff on the show, something I want to mention, one of our sponsors, one of our partners, Daniel Cook with Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration, on last week's show, mentioned that he had a special going on in June. And Daniel contacted me, told me that the special with Cook DFW, their promotion they've got is going to continue into July, where basically if you contact Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration for a new roof, they will upgrade you to a Class 4 shingle for free for the month of July. So again, we love our partners here on the show, but if you're in need of a new roof repair, or restoration, give Daniel a call at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. The number is 833-COOK-DFW, the website, cookdfw.com. And that, my friends, was an impromptu ad.
That's what you call America right there.
No, Daniel and his team, man, those are awesome people, and they're great supporters also of the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation. So moving on here, Robin, you, as we were going into break on the last segment, you were reminded of another story, and we had to tap the brakes on it, but we're going to let you bring that forward here and set that story free for us. Again, it involved another foot pursuit.
Yes.
Correct? It kind of combined the theme of a foot pursuit and, dude, where's my car?
Kind of, sort of.
Let us have it.
Back in the 80s, and a lot of time, Fort Worth was jumping in the 80s, and I was fortunate to work as a rookie during that time on the east side. And we had a section of town over off of Riverside and Berry that had 3 large apartment complexes just mashed together. A lot of time spent in there, a lot of activity. And one of the officers I worked with was a Puerto Rican by birth, and he came to Texas and he became a Fort Worth officer, but he had a real heavy accent. He was a dual citizenship officer. and he was very enjoyable because very heavy accent, and when he'd get excited, he would revert to speaking Spanish over the radio, so you knew when things were really going crazy. But he got a call in that complex one night about some kids damaging property, and as he pulled into the complex, they ran from him, and I heard him calling out in a foot pursuit, and then later he asked for a supervisor.
Oops.
So you don't know what happened there. So I was curious, and when he came back to the sector after the shift was over, I asked him in the roll call room. I said, "Hey, what happened out there? You asked for a supervisor." And he said, "Oh man, I pulled into the complex and I see them standing there, and they start to run across the playground, and I jump out and I'm chasing them." He goes, I'm running and I look and a police car's going by me, and I look down and it was my car. And I said, "Well, geez, what did you do?" And he goes, "I ran along beside it and pulled the door open, and I'm trying to stop it, and then when I hit a tree." That's exactly how he said it. It was just, he was so crushed. But
so is his car.
Oh yeah, yeah. Always put it in park.
After that, we called him El Stapo.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
But did he catch the people he was chasing?
No, I don't think so. I think he shifted his focus to the fact that he was lucky he didn't get run over by his car, but then he was very, very sad that he had hit a tree.
I can almost see that moment too. When you look over and you're like, "Oh, look, the cavalry's here.
Yeah,
they're here to help me." And they're like, "Hey, who's driving that car?"
You're running along and you're looking and you're looking and you're like, what?
I'm my own cavalry. I mean, that's not unlike being a canine officer.
No.
You know, you hit the button and the door kicks open, your dog comes running to help you out. This time he just hit the button, his car came running to help him out.
It wasn't Knight Rider, I promise you.
no.
Oh, all right, guys. That's what we got for today's show. Robin, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio. Thanks for coming on, sir.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here. I appreciate it.
Guys, till next time, keep it real, keep it funny, stay safe, and watch each other 6.